And first of all, I want to find out what is winding up David Mitchell.
Yes, it's people who get annoyed when you don't remember them. I would like them to go in the room.
OK.
Whoever the hell they are.
That was beautiful. Started like rain on a roof, but then...
Yeah, it grew on them. Look, I'm not saying it's good to not remember someone who you've met before. And if you don't remember someone, obviously you should try and conceal it. I accept that. You know, if you can't remember someone's name or you're not sure whether you've met them at all or whatever, just, you know, nod and smile, say nice to see you. Don't make it obvious. You know, it's out there that you've met this person before and you haven't remembered them. Now, I've not been remembered by people, and I've never made a thing of it. I don't think there's any point in making a thing of it because something has happened somewhere deep in the workings of someone's brain. And there's nothing to be done about it. The remembering has not happened. In fact, the person who's angry that I haven't remembered them, I've only got their word for it that I've met them at all. But, you know, nevertheless, I do believe them because I am quite a thoughtless, forgetful person. But why get angry with something that my brain has unconsciously failed to do? What am I supposed to do about it? Go back in time to the moment when I supposedly met this person and then sort of do some homework afterwards, revise the people I bumped into at that party so that when I meet them next time, I'll go, oh, yes, hello, Steve, or whatever. No, that's not workable. Leave me alone. It's like shouting at children for not being clever enough. There's no point in getting annoyed. There's no point in saying, I wish your brain was structured in a kinder, more caring way. That's just not the way social interaction between humans works. We don't address head-on the issue of whether a person is more or less nice. So I say, if someone doesn't remember you, live with it, be bitter inside, don't get outwardly annoyed.
I took my mother-in-law to A&E a couple of weeks ago, and a nurse was dealing with me, and this porter said, he's off the telly. And she said, oh, is it really? And she was staring at me. It's a bit embarrassing. And then she said, what's your name? I'll Google you.
Oh, God.
So I gave her my name and waited. And she said, do you host Room 101? And I said, yeah, I do. And she said, that's one of my favourite programmes. How are you with names, Judy?
I've become quite good at pretending I remember people and I just say hi there. I was in Blackpool a couple of years ago with Sunetra Sarkar, who's an actress on Casualty, and this woman was coming towards us and she stopped rigid in front of us and she said, I know you. And luckily she wasn't pointing at me, she was pointing at Sunetra and she goes, do you remember me? And she was quite aggressive and Sunetra says, no, I'm terribly sorry, I don't. And the woman said, I know where I know you from, prison.
And was there a little bit of doubt in your mind?
No, we just ran away.
I was doing a book signing and a woman came up... My family was there, and the woman came up to me and said, I don't know if you remember me, we had a one-night stand in 1997.
You see, that's polite.
Yeah. Well, I definitely said thank you.
But, you know, she's saying... I won't speculate as to whether it is accurate or not, but she's saying you've had sex. But even so, she's polite enough to think that maybe you've forgotten the encounter. To help you remember. I think that's extremely well-mannered.
And she's attached a year to it as well, so she's given me some... I'm able to narrow it down.
Yeah.
It's like Google Earth. I've just closed it in just a little bit.
I'm with you. Well, why get offended by it? If it was me, I'd feel bad that you didn't remember me rather than feeling annoyed that you didn't remember me.
Yeah, I mean, there's an onus on a person to be at least slightly memorable.
Yeah.
Is that something? Don't get angry at me that you're so forgettable. Get angry at your personality and the world. It's not my fault.
Sometimes you remember people for being horrible.
Yes,
Mary
everyone
Vale.
remembered Hitler's name.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the surname you've got, but...
Yeah. Just call him Herr Hitler. Don't let on that you can't remember his first name.
Here's an aide de memoire that a wife put together for her husband. This is a sign that she left on the door so he didn't forget his lunch.
What I find regrettable there is she obviously has decided her husband is just obsessed with breasts and vaginas, and yet she's
Hold on,
still...
where's the vagina?
Well, because
That's
the
an arrow. That's a downward arrow.
Oh, I see. I assume... What I was thinking is she was thinking that he would look first at the breast and then downwards towards the groin. There you go. There's no point in hiding it now. It has been televised.
What's upsetting David Mitchell?
Sugar lumps. You take a commodity that people want to decide how much they want, and you congeal it in such a way as to prescribe a minimum dose. You don't get that with ketchup. Put as much ketchup on or as little as you like. You don't have to put a minimum of that sized clod of it. Sugar exists as a powder in a granulated form. Why turn it into lumps? What are you doing? You're only limiting its usage. You're not extending its usage. So, there you go. Sugar lumps. Why do they exist? Stop doing it. Stop congealing sugar into lumps.
I don't know why it exists, actually.
And do you know what? Well, one argument you could make. Let me play devil's advocate, and I mean devils. They're devils. These is you could say, well, it's a useful way to take, you know, an amount of sugar, you know, that you can then hold it, such as a sugar sachet. And obviously, a sugar sachet that involves paper. That's worse for the environment. However, there exists, and I have seen this, and the people who make these are the real satans of the world. Sugar lumps in sachets. A lump of sugar in a little plastic. Why is that allowed to exist? What's the point of that? The only defence for the lump, the sugar lump that allows bowls of sugar in cafes to get dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, and people have, oh, I'll have that one, oh, that's a bit of a wonky one. You know, this disgusting thing. The only defence is a certain level of convenience, and then someone decides, well, actually, let's take the sachet that also provides that level of convenience and put a lump in it. And these aren't sugar sachets that have been left in the wet or something. This is a deliberately formed sugar lump put in a sachet. Can you imagine anything more diabolical? Just drop forth.
I think with sugar lumps, probably every sugar lump in a bowl in a cafe has been handled by at least 60 to 100 toddlers.
Yeah, you're preaching to the converted. But what I'm saying is, if you've decided, OK, sugar lumps are disgusting, let's put sugar in sachets to limit small amounts of it, why? Why? Render the sugar into a lump before you put it in a sachet. Why?
Because then the toddler germs won't get on the sugar lump you want to use.
But you don't need... The unlumpen sugar has the same sweetening effect. You don't need to turn it into a lump. You can just put it in a sachet. The toddlers can't touch it. You can have half of it if you don't want the whole thing. Everyone wins.
How do they stick it together, the lump?
God knows. I've heard they get Chinese children to cry.
But you need sugar lumps to be able to feed sugar to horses.
Well, you may have hit upon the only use for the sugar lump. But firstly, the instances of equine diabetes are... and secondly, I'm sure we could design some sort of spoon for feeding sugar to horses.
Or a tube. We know they can blow out. They can probably...
Yeah, a sort of tube You could give the
Hold on.
horse a kind of sugar.
We don't want horses snorting sugar.
Because the other argument you could make in favour of the sugar lump, but you wouldn't unless you know, came from hell. Another argument you could make is that it saves on, you know, washing a piece of cutlery, because you don't need a spoon. You can just plop it in. You still need the spoon to stir, but you shouldn't use the same spoon to spoon sugar in as to stir. That makes you a monster.
Don't you have those little tongs, though?
Oh,
Those-
yeah.
The days of those tongs are gone.
No, no.
Hardly any of those.
Not in Dunblane.
Really? The last bastion of the sugar tongs. If you're saying the only way to make the lumps hygienic is to use tongs, then you're not saving on cutlery at all. That got you.
But, as you pointed out, tongs are on the way out, and I, for one, would like to save the tong. I've got, in my house, I have sugar tongs. I have a coal fire with tongs. Any excuse to use tongs. I run a small men's clinic. I would be sad to see the end of the tong. And if you get rid of sugar lumps, that's going to be a major blow to the tong industry.
You're gonna keep the sugar lump to save the tongs.
Yeah.
This is madness.
My mum, every time she made a cup of tea, she put 2 spoons of sugar in it. And if we had visitors, she'd give them the tea and say, do you take sugar? And if they said no, she'd say, don't stir it. I swear to you, I didn't make that up. OK, so, this is tough, because I think you're so right about all this. I would only say there are inane road signs, but when I'm driving on my own, I'm just glad of something to read. So I'm going to keep that in. The sugar lump, I can say, as a champion of the tong, I just can't let... Because there's nothing left.
The tongs are no good to you if the sugar lump's in a sachet. Unless you have tiny little sachet scissors.
Geese. Don't really need to explain that, do I? Probably the worst of all the animals, I'd say. Leery, but unjustifiably leery. I don't really believe a goose could handle itself, but it fronts it all the time. Like a swan, we know, can break your arm, and geese are just like the people who hang out with the bigger kids. You just go up to going, yeah, and you know you could punch it, but it's a goose.
We have a clip, actually,
Oh, God.
of a man in a canoe enjoying a beautiful day's canoeing.
I rest my case.
I don't know what your antipathy to geese is. I mean, foie gras.
What did you say to me?
Oh, foie
Oh,
gras.
I thought you said something else.
Yeah, I thought...
What time does this show go out?
I mean, geese are not all bad.
Are you talking about eating geese in terms of, like...
Oh, goose is good.
Yeah, but, like, Heston, you could probably make something that tastes like a goose. That isn't a goose. Put some paprika in a duck.
We did this Christmas show where we took a goose and decided to feed it a Christmas tree.
Well, not a whole Christmas tree.
No, it was pine essential oil, and we.
Is that
we
why
made
they
it
swim like that? The Christmas tree formation?
Yeah.
You fed it Christmas tree? Wow.
We made this feed that we thought, if we thought it was nice, and then the geese ate it,
Yeah.
then it'd be really nice to eat. So we did it for about 2 months before they killed the goose.
How'd you kill it? Did it choke on a bauble?
No, I didn't have anything to do with that, but I had to go and choose the goose, and I had to go into this pen, and this flipping thing went for me all the time, and it hissed, and its neck went forward. And it's...
What you needed one of these. Honestly, I can hear them hitting the window at the back of the building. What's amazing about this, though, is if you hear goose fly over, they all have a great variety of sounds. It's an amazing... I've tried to recreate this for people who don't live in Goose country. Anyone switches on now, they'll think this is Tubular Bells live. Well, one of my problems with geese, which I will bet, is they nearly killed Rod Stewart. Are you aware of this?
No?
This is quite a big news story. Anyone?
Are you thinking about Rod Hull?
No. No, not him.
No?
There is. Look, Rod cheats death in jet terror. So you see that headline, you think, I wonder what happened. And then it says, star tells of fear as Goose hits engine. I once went to an audience with Rod Stewart. And, you know, they used to have all the questions set up in advance. And he said, no, I just want to do it spontaneously. And I don't want the celebrities at the front, I want them way at the back. Just want the public, I want real questions. So we did a couple of songs, brilliant. He said to this guy in the front row, got a question? The guy said, yeah, why don't you make good albums like you used to in the 70s? You know they have teeth as well.
Where?
They have teeth not only in their beak, but also on their tongue.
Oh, I hate them so much.
Get
Oh, my God. Right, I've won the round. There's no way I've not won. Look at that. Also, if you ever feed bread to ducks, a goose always comes along and bullies
Gooses it.
everyone. Just bullies everyone. Bullies everyone, everyone's got to step back, the goose is gobbling it all. That's how it eats. Who eats like that? Just vibrating their whole head. All the way down the neck. And walks away thinking, nailed that, everyone thinks I'm cool. No one thinks you're cool, Goose.
Anyway, with geese, they are nasty little things, but the fact that they have all these magical things which allows them to fly in a V formation, I'll forgive them almost anything for that.
The Nazis were organised.
Look, it's too late to change your choice now.
The shot put.
I realise now I actually misread your choice. You can't not like the shot put, can you?
Oh, I can. Who here is a fan of the shot put? One guy. And he's a liar. Right, here's the problem. At the Olympics, everyone does their stuff and it's amazing, and you're seeing people doing things, you go, I couldn't do that, it looks incredible. The shot put, it just looks rubbish. They throw it, and literally he's here, and he throws it, and it lands there. And I know it's heavy, but I've never held a shot put, so I don't know how heavy it actually is. So I don't know context for it. So all I'm doing on TV is watching someone throw a ball a little way. That is it.
There's a certain method, though. You have to hold it tight to your chin and straighten the arm.
Yeah, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
How's that fun?
The Berlin 1938 Olympics got a big cheer every time. Let's have a look. This is a shot putter called Layla Rajabi. I think she's the one on the right. But you have to admire the amount of effort, surely, that's going into that.
I'm sure as an Olympian or as a shot putter, it is very hard and you've got to train a long time for it.
Yes.
But as a spectator, no one is watching that going, nearly as good as that last time the man threw the ball a little way.
On the subject of the weight, for a man, the shot put is 7.2k, which is, you'll like this, it's the size of an average-sized dax hunt.
Now, that sounds much more enjoyable.
Instantly a better sport.
Yeah. Throw it into a big hot dog roll. And the female one is 4 kilograms, which is the equivalent to the average weight of a domestic cat.
I like
a domestic cat would work better in the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had the room, of course.
Yeah.
What I wish we had, of course, was what would be ideal is if we had some fabulous shot putter to come on. Say, the only British woman to have ever won an international shot put medal. Someone like Sophie McKenna. Here she is, Sophie McKenna. This is James.
Hello, Sophie McKenna.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you.
What we thought is the best way to settle this is that if you and Sophie have a contest.
Right, are there?
You're all right with a big lead weight flying over. Now, what we are going to do, we're going to use a tangerine, a small tangerine. Are you all right with chucking a tangerine?
Of course, yeah. Give it a go.
Hold on. I'm going to let you choose your weapons. What we need is we need a shot circle to, you know, the thing that they swing about. Here it comes.
I mean, I'm just afraid to go anywhere near because I feel I've made her angry.
So if anyone can catch the tangerine, they'll get a special prize. Would you like to choose your...
You first.
Use your tangerine? Oh, come on. Weighing them. Yeah, straight in, Sophie.
Have I got to do the...
Do you want a bit of advice from Sophie before
Yeah,
you
give me
do...
a pointer, Sophie.
Are you right-handed?
Yep.
Yeah, OK, so put your left foot against the stopboard like that.
Yeah.
And then stand your right foot astride, bring it forward a little bit, so to mine, yeah. And then tangerine, tighten your neck. And then, yeah, bend your right knee and bring your shoulders back to me. No, like... this. Faces this way. And your head this way as well. Yeah. And then, obviously, turn and throw.
Here we go,
Like
here we
that,
go. And then up there, get ready to catch.
OK. Ready?
Whoa!
Right.
You must say
That was pretty good.
Second step.
So, who did that land next to? Yes, this lady. So, right, so you're the official marker. Thank you so much. So it's over to Sophie.
I feel a bit pressured now.
Has it actually landed yet? I'm hoping you two can shake hands and agree to differ on this one.
Definitely.
And what about a massive hand for Sophie McKenna? Cheers, Sophie. Thanks a lot. OK, so what's upsetting Jimmy?
Tax loopholes, Frank. So this isn't tax evasion, this is tax avoidance. So it's following the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law, and leaving it up to us to decide how much we pay. And I don't think it's a good idea. It's not a good idea. No, I don't know all the detail. I think that's been reported on. It's like one law for rich people and one law for everyone else. It doesn't seem fair, and it seems to me they should make the law much clearer, much simpler to follow, and it would be better for everyone. I should probably mention I'm a recent convert to this view. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in 2012 I had a 50% pay cut. And this is when you know you've got a tax problem. If anyone's ever had a letter through from HMRC, don't worry about that. Pop that in the recycling. They will send another letter. They're very good like that. If, on the other hand, if the Prime Minister of the country that you live in breaks off from the G20 summit in Mexico and he comes out early to do a press conference where he talks about nothing other than your personal tax affairs, that is going to be a problem. And I know, because that is what happened to this guy.
Shall we go for a little walk down memory lane and relive that?
Oh, I can't imagine any problem with that psychologically.
This is the then Prime Minister David Cameron.
Some of these schemes where people are parking huge amounts of money offshore and taking loans back to just minimise their tax rates, it is not morally acceptable. And I put it like this. You know, think of all those people who work hard, who pay their taxes, and out of that post-tax income save up to go and see Jimmy Carr. He's taking that money and stuffing it into something where he doesn't have to pay taxes. That is not fair. That is not right.
He's got a point.
How much are your tickets that people have to save up?
They're expensive. They're significantly more now than they were. But I think that thing of like... The other reason I wanted to put this in was because I kind of thought, obviously, like, the Paradise Papers then came out more recently, and the perception is everyone's doing this. I mean, the Queen.
I know. Unforgivable.
I mean, but she's on money. If she wants more money, she's just got to photocopy her face. It's weird as well, the sort of, you know, that thing of, like, you know, David Cameron, much as that's his job to do that, and I absolutely respect that, but the fact that, you know, there's a large offshore trust in his family name that pays no tax. You go, well, there's always going to be a level of kind of hypocrisy in this.
Yeah.
Was there a little bit of you that was quite excited when he named you on the telly, though?
It's nice to be on the news, because
Exactly.
it rates.
Because it rates.
Yeah.
There are worse
You see my
ways.
new show? It's called The News. Good.
I'm featured a lot on it lately.
I don't know why there isn't a law. People, like, when I've spoken to accountants, I've spoken to a lot of people about this, I've become something of an expert by accident. And I sort of think it should be really simple. And I sort of really simplified my life afterwards and went, oh, why have I got a limited company? It's mental. Why have I got that? Just get the money, pay the tax, and then fine. Obviously, I should have done that earlier, but... it's a mea culpa. I did a bad thing and I've, you know... Although I didn't, you know, I didn't kill anyone, because there's a very clear law on that.
No grey area.
If they had the same law on murder, I'd have killed loads of people. If they said, well, we leave it up to you, decide what you think is morally right. No, that's your job.
I always thought, at the time, I thought Ken Dodd must have been gutted because he was the go-to tax dodger comedian for 30 years.
You heard what Ken Dodd said, right? I mean, he was on trial in Liverpool. He was in court in Liverpool, and they said to him, why didn't you pay any tax? And he said, well, it's the inland revenue, and I live by the sea. I mean, he's a genius.
Are you going to do a Ken Dodd quote for every topic tonight?
Please.
He's the absolute master.
It's quite an achievement.
The reason for putting this in there, they could close all of those loopholes tomorrow. They could just say, we're not doing any of that. We're not doing any of that. If you earn money, you pay 40% on it, and that's it. That's the law.
This is a bit like a burglar coming on the show and trying to put in windows. I mean, they're there, but you don't have to climb through them.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. If you leave it up to people's morality, you've got to understand there's quite a lot of people like me that have got a morality that's flexible. I mean, you know how much tax I saved?
No.
None.
Is that because you paid it all back?
Yeah. But I think there's a weird thing that people still think maybe you got away with something. No, you didn't get away with anything at all. It's an interesting thing that you go, it's almost like I think the government loaned me some money for a bit at quite a high interest rate. That's the way I see it. Very good of them.
I'm sorry to hear you've paid it all back because there's a pothole by where I live and every time I drive through it, I say to my partner, thank you, Jimmy Carr. And now I can't do it anymore. But I think Jimmy is right. If there were no tax loopholes, then slimy characters like Jimmy wouldn't be exploiting them.
100% right.
I'm going to put tax loopholes into room 101.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Right.
Right then, to Jimmy.
Other people's opinions. Right. What specifically? This is about sort of 24-hour news and their propensity with the vox pop, which I'm not a huge fan of. Tell you what I like: experts. I think it was Michael Gove said, I think people are tired of experts. No, I tell you what I'm tired of. Michael Gove. I like an expert. I like watching the news and they've got some economist on there or they've got a doctor talking about something and you go, oh, right, I didn't know that. That's brilliant. And they're very rarely outside of Greg's at 4. They're not.
I know what you mean. I heard a radio phone-in about crime in the UK just a couple of days ago. And I think if the contributors, instead of speaking, had whistled, it wouldn't have in any way lessened the content of the show.
I quite like Vox Pops when they, like some shows, when they have, like, if they've got, like, a morning show and it's a bit of fun and they go, who should be the next James Bond? Great question in the high street. Should they bring back salad cream? I'm fine with that. But as soon as they go, you know, what do you think about Brexit? I go, it's too important. Tell us what happened, give us the facts on the news. It shouldn't be an opinion show, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I realise that applause there suggests that this audience agree with me, but that is only their opinion, so I don't care.
I think it is quite helpful, though, to constantly remind yourself of how little people know about politics, for example. Otherwise, you're likely to trust them with a really significant, life-changing referendum.
Yeah.
Can I show you? This is an MP, an Australian MP, who presumably is the sort of person you think should be interviewed about that. And they're asking him about same-sex marriage. So, you know, he's working in a legislative assembly, so he's the man to speak to.
You know, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities, you know. I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom, as far as I'm concerned. You know, but I ain't spending any time on it because, in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
What?
Well, sometimes it's nice to hear from more than one personality within an interview.
This is not strictly speaking a vox pop, but it is an interview with a member of the public because she's 110, and we all want to know what it feels like to be 110. And I think this woman illustrates it better than most.
Later today, Flossie's family is going to be coming out here to throw you a big birthday party. Are you excited for your party?
Not one bit.
I love that woman.
Is she Scottish?
Not one bit excited.
We should point out, we're not saying, A, the public is stupid. We're saying we don't know about stuff. I don't know about loads. I was asked, this is a genuine thing, I was on the South Bank in London, and there was a group from a university, and it was the Darwin centenary anniversary of some kind, and they asked me my views on evolution. So I said, well, if we came from chimpanzees, how come there are still chimpanzees knocking around? What are they, like developers? And I said to them, are they like when you get popcorn that hasn't popped? And the bloke looked upset, not just like disappointed in me, but why ask me something like that?
Yeah.
Ask a scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember the point that I made?
Yeah.
I feel we're in agreement on this.
It's upsetting Charlie Brooker.
Yeah, this is anything I don't want to do. Now, I recognise this is quite a broad one, and it's a category that I find has expanded the older I get, basically. There's a basic rule of thumb that I think it was called Sturgeon's law. Usually applies to film and TV and literature, that 90% of everything is rubbish and isn't worth bothering with. I don't want it. Most places aren't worth going to. Most conversations aren't worth having. Most things aren't worth eating. Most items and objects in the world aren't worth looking at or contemplating. I don't want to go to a forest or a picnic or watch your play or read a book, because it's not worth doing. And it really comes into focus at weekends. And you can't just apparently sit around in the house just staring at a phone all the time, because that's sort of bad. And the kids know this as well, because they've discovered iPads and phones, and everyone would rather be looking at those all the time, obviously. But because out of a sense of duty and guilt, you end up going to a playground or on a picnic or to a bloody museum, and most things aren't worth bothering with.
OK. Well, thanks for coming. I would say that often there are things you think you aren't going to enjoy, and then when you do them, you actually find that they're much more pleasurable than you thought. And I have to say, I've used that line a few times. What about the theory of deferred gratification? Is that you do something you don't want to do now because you'll get the reward at some point in the future. I'll give you an example. If I'm wearing a jumper,
right,
when I take it off, I always pull the sleeves out the right way again. And I think, when I come back to this jumper, set to go.
That's bleak. That is the bleakest thing I've ever heard.
Coming from Charlie Brooker, I took that as an enormous compliment.
Is that what? That's a thing that's the first place you go to when I talk about pleasure, is you think about the thing you do with the arms of your jumper.
Talking about thinking ahead to make my life sweeter at a later date. Jumper preparation.
I feel like you need a hug. Like a proper hug. But if you're only enjoying 2% of your life.
It's not that I'm not enjoying that. It's just that the rest of it isn't probably worth bothering with. It would have made no difference to my quality of life if 98% of things hadn't happened.
How do you decide on the 2%, though?
There's probably a couple of desserts I've had I've liked. Probably the birth of my children.
Good, that's a good one to
I'd probably put that
yeah.
somewhere in there.
I'll tell you what I would say. I agree with you that I don't think we should do things because other people think we should do them. I'd agree with that. I mean, take this picture of a lovely beach holiday. God, I respect that goth.
I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't do bikinis.
Can you imagine it? And the money she saved on suntan lotion. Fantastic. What about this painter and decorator who didn't want to move some boxes? You see what your attitude does to the world, Charlie?
That's more interesting than a plain wall, though, isn't it? That's an admirable spirit.
Well, the idea of doing what you don't want to do, we've got an example here of a dad trying to persuade his child to do something they don't want to do. And it shows with a bit of clever thought. It's amazing what you can achieve.
No. Vamos caminando.
Aquí.
No, caminando.
Aquí.
¿Caminando?
Aquí.
No.
Aquí.
No.
Sí.
No.
Sí.
Sí.
No.
No, vamos.
I just think you're liable. If you don't do things you don't want to do, you're liable to not make fabulous discoveries. Like, I recently went camping, and they asked me to...
No, yeah.
Come on.
That's a bad one to pick.
That's not it. That's not my... And they asked me to build a bonfire. And I thought, I really don't want to build a bonfire. I built a bonfire. I loved it. I stared at that bonfire for an hour and a half. If I had the choice between Netflix and a bonfire, I would rather have a bonfire. And I would not have discovered that if I'd adopted your attitude of, no, I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do it.
Speaking of, I've got a show on Netflix, so up yours.
I've got several shows on the bonfire. So what's upsetting Charlie Brooker?
Having your hair cut.
Yeah.
And this is really the whole experience, the fact that it's necessary is annoying, but there's not many experiences in life in which you have to sit in a confined space with a stranger and you have to sit there and make small talk with them while staring at yourself in the mirror and having your own awkwardness amplified as you look at yourself, while sometimes drinking a cup of coffee that's getting more and more full of hair. The whole experience is I find an absolute torment. And I would be far happier if there was a night barbering service that you could book someone who would come round to your house in the dead of night and cut your hair while you were asleep, or while sedated if they did haircuts on the NHS.
What about that moment when they hold the mirror at the back of your head?
So you can watch yourself nodding obsequiously from the back. You can see what you look like as a liar from behind.
Good to know, though. I can't imagine what damage they could do that would make me say anything other than, yeah, it's lovely, thanks. It's great. I always thought if I was a barber, I'd get one of these. And the man who didn't have a bald patch suddenly... I wouldn't be able to resist. Better still, if you had a man who had a bald patch and you had that. Really build his hopes up and then go, no!
What is the purpose of the mirror? Why do you have to... Why can't I have a TV or something like that instead? Why can't I have anything? A photograph of a terrible atrocity happening would be preferable to watching myself. It should have an option in this day and age, like when you're on a plane and, like, the in-flight entertainment system nowadays, you can often, like, you can be watching a film, then you can just check that you're en route, you can sort of see a little map. So there should be an option, there should just be a button you can press that brings up the feed of your haircut in front of you, just for the few moments when that's necessary, and then you could go back to watching whatever war movie is preferable.
I agree with you there. I don't know if this is just a girl thing, but I feel like you almost pay to be insulted. And they sit down and they just tell you everything that's wrong with your hair, like you've got split ends and your roots need doing and your hair's dry and you need a conditioning treatment on it, and I'm like...
And they want to cut about that much off?
Yeah.
No, what are you doing? This took me ages to
And I'm like, oh, I just want this, like, split ends cut off, and then you end up coming out with, like, a bowl cut. I agree with you, it's awful. I hate going.
Yeah, I agree.
I swear this is true. I went to a barber's in Camden Town and I said to the bloke, he said, what do you want? And I said, I don't know. I said, I quite like yours. I just have it like yours. And he said, well, I have number 2 all over, right? I said, you should try wet wipes. that bit I made. No, don't clap that. I made that bit up. He said, I have number 2 all over. I said, well, I'll have that then. And so he got and he cut my hair, and I could see my scalp through it was so short. And I said, this is much shorter than yours. He said, oh, well, mine's grown out quite a bit. I swear that's true.
Oh, my God.
Do you always find it, you know, when they give you, like, head massages as well? I always find that awkward because I'm like, do I close my eyes or do I keep them open and look at them?
I went somewhere and they started giving me a head massage and I thought, which way's this going? I walked into the wrong bloody place. This is a bit weird. I got my head in a sink.
I don't let them wash it, ever. You know that sink with the sort of... that you lean back on? Feels a bit like sleeping in a urinal. Just take my word for that. And you lean back, and I was getting it done once, and it occurred... I just had this image of this woman karate chopping me across the Adam's apple. And once that's crossed your mind, you cannot enjoy having your hair washed.
You're very vulnerable in those sinks. I thought that you could just... It's like Sweeney Todd or something. It's the perfect... Oh, yeah, toughen up.
OK, so what's Sir Trevor's choice?
My choice is queuing. Thank you. Although I should explain, if you turn up at an airport in Naples or something and you're standing in line and waiting to go to the ticket counter and somebody barges in from the right or left side, you think, oh, my goodness, how wonderful it is that this doesn't happen back in London, you know, where people get in an orderly queue and they don't move. But I get very worried when people become obsessed with just the idea of standing in line. We love lines. And you go to an underground station and there are 3 lanes which are empty, and there's one where there are about 100 people, and everybody gets behind the line. And I just get out and I go for the one where there's nobody standing next to it, and I get my ticket and walk away. But it shouldn't really, but it infuriates me.
I think my particular hate on this one is if you're queuing in a cafe, especially if you're on your own, queuing in a cafe, and a family come in and they all go and sit at the last table in the cafe and then join the end of the queue. So you're way ahead of them, but they got the table. Now, that cannot be right. And I know it's just a table, but you just know these are the people, they do the same thing with a lifeboat.
And they do it now for sales in big stores. You know, somebody forms a lot. Well, in fact, for sales, they don't. They kill each other, don't they? Sort of.
Yeah. I think you can get a community spirit from that kind
Oh, I'm sure
of
there's a
queuing.
community spirit when you do, but I mean, there's nothing else to do but have a community spirit if you're standing out there or sitting out there all night.
Do you still have to queue, Sir Trevor? Do you ever just go, I am Sir Trevor of the news, let me through?
No, nobody ever does that. I must... they probably do it for you, but not for me.
Oh.
I don't believe that. I think the world parts like Moses in the Red Sea.
A queue that you see a lot in London is young men queuing for training shoes. A new edition of trainers comes out, and they literally queue overnight to get in there first. And I find this a pretty remarkable phenomenon. And I was in this car, and I was being driven. I'd been talking to the driver. It's a woman driver. She's Latvian. And she said, what is this queue? And I said, it's they're queuing for training shoes. I said, can you believe it? And there was a short pause, and she said, I've queued for cheese.
But that's the, but, I mean, you know, but that's the thing, you know. So a new phone comes out, and everybody queues. Look, I tell you something. The guys who make those phones, they're going to make enough to sell it to everybody. You do not need to queue. I'm telling you, honestly.
The one I think that needs quite a bit of intuition is when you're queuing at a urinal. Guessing who's gonna finish first. You're looking for any sort of sense of relaxation. It's a sort of urinal Russian roulette. Just trying to... I once stood at a urinal behind the Red Arrows in full formation. Amazing. Oh, they do the red, white and blue thing.
There's a kind of sport to it at the supermarket, though, isn't there? With you know, which line are you going to choose, which is moving faster. Yeah. If you can actually turn it into a competitive event with someone else, you take that basket, take that basket, and you can just be edging at the hatch quite fast.
I find in the supermarket, my real problem, when you're queuing behind someone, when you get to the actual conveyor belt, and they don't put the grocery divider. Now, that's their job. It's the leader's responsibility. I can't put it on. They have to put it on. So what I start doing, I start putting my stuff on quite close to theirs. Like the most expensive stuff, like a little bit of truffle oil rolling over. They start to panic, and down it goes. And so, what's upsetting Sir Trevor?
Lateness. I thought we'd be done by now. But, this is a problem which I realize is partly of my own creation. If I arrange to meet somebody at 6 o'clock outside McDonald's, you know, some...
Do you mean your house?
I was referring to the family firm. At 6 o'clock, if I say 6 o'clock, at about 5 to 6, I'm there, of course, and I think I've got the wrong place because the person hasn't turned up. Now, I'm not into all this sort of quasi-philosophical nonsense about punctuality being the prerogative of princes or kings or whatever. I don't believe any of that. But I just think that if you say you're going to be there at a certain time, then you are there. I make extreme efforts to make sure that I am on time. I always take account of the fact that there might be traffic. I mean, have you ever heard of the worst excuse in your life? There's traffic. There's traffic everywhere. There always is traffic.
Do you think it's because it was a big deal in your job? Like if at 10 o'clock Britain turned on their television,
well,
there was just a chair there.
To be very honest...
I'm on my way.
Yeah, you did have a job that started with Big Ben.
So you kind of always knew what time it was.
Well, exactly. The worst thing I ever was I had a meeting with someone and they turned up. I mean, they were probably 15 minutes late, and they had a Starbucks coffee. And they said, sorry, I'm late. And I said, but hold on a minute. You had time to buy the Starbucks.
I know.
And they said, oh, well, I knew I was already late, so I couldn't make it any worse. I said, this is the serial killer argument, isn't it? Well, I'd already killed one person.
I have a kind of sneaking admiration for them, because they'll never get heart attacks. They'll never be too, you know, discombobulated about not being there on time. They'll never worry excessively about really anything at all.
I like the way you're losing confidence.
No, but I mean, I see the downsides of it. But what I'm saying is it's still a source of great irritability.
It does feel like disrespect, that's a problem. And when you're at an airport and they start, you know, everything's late, all the flights are late, this, I think, is probably the best excuse I've ever seen for a flight being late.
Yeah, very good. I'll tell you, one of the oddities, too, is when people tell you you are late. And in the journalistic world, it happens like this. There is a war, and you can't get to it in time, and you turn up, and the guy says, where are you heading to? You said, I'm going to Bucharest, because the Romanian dictator has just been... And he said, but that happened 2 days ago. I said, yes, it took me 2 days to get here. So people tell you are late.
I don't know anyone else who's ever told me an anecdote about being late for a war. It's making Phil angry.
There he is. Tom Hiddleston gets me angrier than any event from history. We don't need Tom Hiddleston, Eddie Redmayne, and Benedict Cumberbatch. One of them is superfluous. They all serve basically the same purpose. We only need Cumberbatch. And then if Cumberbatch gets injured, we'll let Redmayne out the cage. And then if Redmayne gets injured, we just don't make the film, because Tom Hiddleston's awful. He's completely unaware of himself. He's someone who's just been told his entire life that he's wonderful. And he just offers these displays of talents he doesn't have.
Let me start off. There might be someone in the audience who doesn't know who Tom Hiddleston is. And he's, I would say, probably most famous for playing Loki, the evil brother of Thor. That's him as Loki. I think he came on the tube and it meant he didn't have to hold on to the... My problem with this is I do think he's a really, really good actor.
My problems is with him as a person, because, you know, there's so many actors now that, you know, they're quite replaceable.
Oi.
Only thing they're different... Oh, sorry, I
It's
forgot.
not easy, is it, Steve?
Not easy listening to this.
Have you ever met him?
He was my best man. No, I mean, I haven't met him, but I tend
I
to
guess
look...
you're always up for the same parts, so... It's
Well, of course. I look for the good in people, and I just assume that he can't be as awful as he comes across in every interview he does.
I've not watched much of his acting because I hate him so much. I can't bring myself to watch him do anything. He just does these performances for people. He sang Man in the Mirror in Korea.
which is ironic because Man in the Mirror is about self-reflection.
Sure he wasn't singing Man in Korea.
He's sort of famous for his impressions. Famous for them rather than in any way respected or admired for them. Here is Tom being Jacko.
As I turn up the collar of my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. And the kids in the street, and I'm not too weak. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their meat? I'm fella's disregard, I'm broken vinyl tied, and a one-man soul.
He can hear everyone is screaming. He just keeps going.
He thinks they're screaming with delight and adulation.
They're running for the exits. They're trampling over each other.
I tell you what I love about it.
That was North Korea as well.
Yeah. A lot of people said it was the worst thing that had ever happened in North Korea. No, I keep thinking he'll stop in a minute, and he doesn't.
He's just completely unaware that he isn't great at everything. He's like a toddler who just grew in size in no other way. And just think, mine, I can do this. Listen to me. Hey, I'm singing. I'm Tom Hiddleston. I'm Loki. It's just... He just thinks he can... Maybe I'm jealous. I guess maybe I'm jealous.
Yeah. That was so the elephant in the room. What's upsetting Phil?
Having a bath. I hate a bath. This is having a bath. I hate it. It's disgusting. I have showers because when you have a shower, the water droplets fall on your body. They grab the dirt and they fall down your body. I shower standing up. I don't know about you guys. But then that flows down into the drain and then you say bye. But in the bath, water just kind of picks the dirt off your groin and your bum. And then just kind of waits there and just stays there. And then it flows into your mouth and up your nose. So we can only conclude that bath takers are perverts who like to drink their own muck. You don't come out of a bath cleaner, you just are more uniformly dirty. If a murderer comes in, you're dead if you're in a bath. If you're in a shower, you're stood up, you're ready to go. If you're in a bathtub and this guy's got an axe, you're flopping around like a fish. It's pathetic. Your last moments would be so embarrassing.
You ever seen the film Psycho?
Well, that was more to do with the curtain. I don't have a...
Oh, it's the curtain. The curtain not done it.
If you're standing up in the shower, it washes everything off you, but it doesn't go up your passage, does it? So you will constantly have a dirty passage, whereas if you have a bath once in a while, you'll have a cleaned out passage.
But in a bathtub, you can't even reach a passage in the tub because you put soap in your hands and you put it in the water, and then the soap washes off your hands, and then so you just got a bare hand up your passage. So then... Unless you turn over in the tub, so you're face down and your passage is above water level. And then you reach around and get soap on your hands, and then... But then the drowning problem again. And then if a murderer comes in and he sees that...
Somewhere to put the knife.
The main reason I don't bath ever is cleaning the bath. I bath once a week, and that's the day the cleaner comes.
That's like you wait in for her.
Yeah. not since she came in with that axe.
You have to clean a shower as well, don't you?
I don't. Once a week's fine for the shower. One of the most disappointing things, when I first started going out with girls, I always imagined that the height of sexiness was sharing a bath together. It's the least comfortable, most and I always get the taps end. It's like trying to be sexy at gunpoint. I'll tell you what I've got. I've never invented anything in my life. Most people say they've got one invention in their heads that they've had and they never do anything about. I had this idea. And the idea is that you plug this in the bath, and then you fill the bath, go downstairs, have a cup of tea or whatever. And if you forget, this will float on the surface, and when it gets to a certain height, it'll pull the plug out, so the bath can never overflow.
Don't bathtubs already have an outlet flow beneath the tap?
Yeah, you're right, they do.
I'm out.
I'm not, as much as I respect the women's libbers, I'm not going to put in people who change their name, because I think it's all about choice, isn't it, ultimately? Phil, I don't bath, personally. I agree with you, I don't want to put my face in something in which I've marinated my below-the-belt areas. But some people do like it, especially the elderly, I think, who find the shower a challenge. So I'm not going to put it in. I think I would not be able to sleep tonight if I did not put into the dark vault people who don't pick up their dog's poo. In it goes. Get ready to grumble, and we'll begin with Rob.
I've gone for teeth.
Yeah. It's a little bit awkward, I'll be honest with you.
Just because I've had a lot of abuse about my teeth over the years, and I might have had a sort of easier life if I didn't have teeth. But if everyone didn't have teeth, I think it'd just be easier all round. Just because they're a pain, aren't they? You've got to clean them twice a day. You've got to go to the dentist, which everyone hates. When they hurt, they really hurt. And also, I sort of think you'd lose weight, because all you'd have is soup. And I've never seen an overweight person knocking back soup all day. No. Easier with a shop in it. What we got? Soup again. Got nothing to chew it with. And I just think it'd just be easier if everyone had no teeth.
Yeah. I'm thinking of some of the implications as we speak. I think, yeah. I mean, you have got your. I feel that your teeth are almost your identity.
Oh yeah,
badge.
I would be unemployed if I had teeth.
It's a terrible system, isn't it? As well, you have to. You're going through the agonies as a tiny baby of teething, and then you can think, oh, the baby must think, because it doesn't know the wider implications. Thank God I've got that out the way.
Well, I've got like a little baby. And the teeth, the poor thing, they're like tombstones coming out of her head. Massive things coming down. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wonder why they're so big.
And also, you can have fizzy drinks. You've not got to worry about sugar. Sweets. You haven't got to worry. You can have Ribena every day.
Are you aware of the national obesity crisis?
Yes, Frank. But we're already on soup, aren't we?
Oh, so soup and sweets.
Soup and sweets.
There's a Twitter feed called Without Teeth.
Oh.
And it's pictures of celebrities without what they would look like. There's one of Barack Obama who does look very different.
I think it looks great.
I think I used to drink with him in Smedley. In the late 70s. I'm sure I remember that bloke. So we've got you with no teeth, Rob, if you'd want to see what that would look like. Here we go.
I think everyone looks more fun.
I was going to say, you look really sweet, don't they? Like from Muppets or something.
You'd absolutely smash through a Mr. Whippy, wouldn't you? Bosh!
Here's Ross. And here's Sophie.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that's like an extra 40 years along with losing my teeth. Wow.
Yeah, and it's made your whole mouth look, well, bigger.
Sometimes when I'm somewhere and there's bottles of beer and no one can find a bottle opener, I can open the bottles with my teeth. What about that?
That's impressive.
I'd need to...
But you wouldn't be able to do that just with gummy gum-gums, would
I
you?
would not. So what would happen then?
I'd get a bottle opener.
Well, then you can't find it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, though, because, you see, if Ross said he could open bottles with his teeth, I'd think, well, of course you can.
But I can't. There's the
You
whole
can't
point
really?
of it.
No, he just bites the top off.
I don't. Yeah. These are my third set of front ones.
Okay. Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
What happened to him?
First one kicked out playing rugby, and then really bad night in Caracas, like you do.
Is that a nightclub?
No. It's in Venezuela. It's the capital of Venezuela.
Oh, I thought it was a nightclub in Croydon, Caracas.
There might be a...
2 for 1 on Sambuca on a Wednesday. Caracas!
I don't remember much about it.
You have shoes and a shirt to get
But I
in.
did wake up the next morning with, like, everyone looking at me going... I'm going, what? What? So taking off all the faces because I'd hit the marble bar. Wow. And I'm going, I will never drink again.
Have you stopped with that?
A little bit.
OK. I know, don't take this badly, Rob. I've got a clip of a dog, and I think it does look a bit like you. But I mean,
It better be a fit dog, Frank.
In the nicest possible way. It's a beautiful dog. Here it is.
Hey, Charlie, what you got? What's that? Is it a new toy? Is that your new...
What's upsetting Rob Beckett?
Insurance.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just so expensive. And whenever you benefit from it, something bad's happened, it's all just very negative. And I think a lot of the time as well, it's like, you just sort of have it just so that if anything does go wrong, you go, I didn't have insurance. You go, oh, my God, you should have got insurance. Where if no one had insurance, then, like, I think people would drive more carefully. Because then they'd have to pay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or it might be like Mad Max, and either way's a laugh. I just find it's just annoying, like, going on holiday. I mean, your travel insurance, but that's pricey, isn't it? You're going skiing? I'm not going skiing, but I'm going with a drug cartel.
You can't go skiing with the clan. You never find them.
The Green Dragons won again.
Yeah. I don't remember there being a mountain range in that direction. Oh, it's the lads. Come here. It's the lads. I call them the lads. I'm sure you can call them. I want to say, you know, in your deathbed, looking back, and you're thinking, I've had a good life. I've never really been ill. I've never been in a car crash. I've never been burgled. I have squandered a fortune on insurance that I've never, ever
And then
done.
I think it made people less worried about material things. Because you've got no house insurance, you don't have anything nice. And you've got nothing to nick then, have they?
One of my favourite methods for stopping being burgled is these. Do you ever see these on people's houses? I love those. I've got one on my house. This is my one. Can I
borrow that?
You can have this, Ross,
Thank
if you
you,
like.
mate. I'll have it afterwards.
That'd be great. What would you insure, Rob, do you think?
What would I insure?
If you had to insure...
Maybe my teeth.
It probably would be the teeth.
Yeah, but I talk about South East London a lot, so Lewisham.
Never going to happen.
It'd be quite a big...
You should do one of your documentaries there.
I'm amazed you can get insurance of any kind.
It's part of the job, and you have to fill out, you know, accident report forms before you go out. And sometimes you're just saying, this is, you know, what I'm actually writing down to get insured for. We'll be spending time with Taliban, you know.
Yeah.
We'll be flying into hot LZ in Chinook. But, you know, there's people who specialise in it. And obviously for your family, but there's also a real, you know, for getting kidnapped and stuff like that, you have to write in actually proof of life. So, you know, you have to say, I'm not going to tell you what I write, but you have to actually write down, should you be taken, what words will you say through the kidnappers to prove that it's you. So when you do that, you go, I don't mind insuring the car.
What about these celebrities who insure body parts? Do you know these people?
With Michael Flatley and his legs.
Michael Flatley, his legs were once insured for 40 million.
Wow.
Now, I can see it with Michael Flatley to some extent because his legs is his job, but this is the one that really... Taylor Swift, her legs are insured for 26.5 million.
Is this true?
Yes.
Who's doing it?
Well,
who'd you ring?
I don't think her legs are any better than my legs. Honestly, I think my legs are that good.
Yeah, can we see them?
There's Taylor Swift. Here's me. I think, arguably, my legs are better ttn hers.
They're not your legs.
They are my legs, I swear to you.
They're so shiny.
I know, well, I've oiled them.
You've oiled them?
No, I've oiled them for a bit, but that's still my legs. Nothing has been done.
To be fair, if you cover the top half up, it's really... I don't know what I'm thinking anymore, frankly.
Well, let's go to the... I'll go to the close-up, that'll help.
Wow. Good pens.
Thank you very much. There's a slight hint on the upper thigh of a bit of cellulite, if I'm going to be totally honest. But I think that's like when you sometimes get bulging of masonry on a cathedral around a very, very heavy gargoyle. On the left, those legs are 26.5 million quid's worth. What are mine worth? Nothing.
Have you put the pants over the top of the lace thing?
That is a border to my pants.
Oh, wow. OK, it's a slightly different garment.
I'm glad. Not many people would look at that and talk about the pants. You're fashion crazy. I was quite pleased with him. This is a man who is at work and I think a tricky insurance claim to fill in.
At the end of it, ow.
Imagine it'd be a great advert for injury lawyers for you.
Imagine the meeting in HR. So what happened to the photocopy? Oh, God.
OK, so, Russell, what's your choice?
Dreams.
Oh.
Yes. Pointless. They're meant to be relaxing and calm and blissful, and then suddenly you're getting chased, your old teacher's there, you've got parrots for feet. Lorraine Kelly's got an axe, she's swinging it, going, get in the shed, make me marmalade. It's meant to be relaxing, they're always awful, you know, they're always mad or they're exhausting. Like, I find that the amount of times I'll have a dream where I feel like I've done... Like, the other day I had a gap year, like, in my dream. Like, and it's just that you wake up and you're like, you're all right, did you sleep well? No, I didn't sleep well. Lost my passport in Peru. I was braiding my own hair for 4 hours. It's horrific.
Losing your passport's a horrible dream, though. I suggest you get yourself a dream catcher.
How did you know? That's exceptional. That's nuts. How did you...
And this is your passport. And then he woke up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know those dreams where it just goes on? Like, this genuinely happened, and it felt like the entire 9 hours I was there. I was a cat working in a travel agency, and I had no skills because I was a cat, and people were moaning. I can really remember this northern bloke going, "You don't know nothing." And, you know, and then you wake up, and you're just exhausted, and then you've got to go to work.
What an amazing imagination you have.
Well, that's the problem,
My recurring dream is me sitting on a bus.
Okay. But see, that's awful.
That is it.
Oh, well, I had one of those, a doll one as well. Not saying you're a doll, I'm just saying, like...
I think you are.
But you know that thing? I had one where I was looking at Duracell batteries and comparing them to Tesco Own for 8 hours.
You see, I have quite ordinary dreams in which, invariably, I'm only wearing a pyjama top. So I'm just walking around in the supermarket in just that, and then I realise...
Well, maybe that's looking into your future, you know.
and then I found this in my dream catcher. When I used to drink... Do you get it with... It's strange when you get... Do you drink? You do drink, don't you? Don't you find the dreams get a bit weirder then?
Not really, no.
I always used to dream I was urinating. And guess what?
I quite like dreaming. I like the middle of the day, you know, sort of old man, half asleep, on a sofa, waking up when you sort of snore a bit. Dream, that's a good thing.
See, no, it's not, because you're of a certain age. I bet you whistle when you snore as well. There's nothing like that. That noise. That's what my dad... It sounds like someone's interfering with a Teletubby. You're like...
My dad used to do that, falling asleep in the chair, going... Absolutely terrifying. Well, I'll tell you something. Are you familiar with the Dream On app? This app is you sleep with your mobile phone and it picks up your sleep patterns. It can tell when you're in deep sleep and when you're moving more.
Right.
And it gives you sound effects at the point you're most likely to dream, and it's supposed to help you into more pleasant... This is... I'm not making this up. So here's some of the sound, for example. So it will influence your dream. I programmed it for this.
Well, I wasn't expecting the plumber, but you better come in.
Worked a treat.
Have you ever had this? Have you ever been attacked by someone for the way you've behaved in their dream? OK, well, I have. There you go. My auntie said, oh, I want to have a word with you. Like, what? Yeah, I had a dream about you the other day. We're at a wedding. I said, yeah? You made love to a pasty. Well, I didn't do it. Like, made love? What are you talking about? She told everyone at the wedding, like it was a thing I did. So Chinese whispers by the end. Everyone's like, oh, it's ginsters. What are you talking about?
Was that in your dream or was that in reality?
It was in her dream. No, I haven't touched a pasty. She is attacking me for the behaviour that I've shown in her dream.
In public?
I don't know where I did it. I'd like to imagine that if I was making love to a pasty, I'd treat it right. You know... But I'd never imagined that. I'd probably take her out for a meal. A meal would be weird because you'd see all her mates getting eaten. But...
I have a clip of a child speaking about dreaming. Okay. And whatever we say about dreams tonight, nothing can be as good as this. This is perfect.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Do you know what? That's like the cutest version of an Eminem song I've ever heard.
That might make me get pregnant again tonight. That was so sweet.
What's Russell's choice?
Grumpy kids. Exactly, right? I was in a restaurant the other day and I heard a child say, oh, Wagamama again. I used to lose my mind when I went to a harvester. Lose my mind. Go into school the next day, salad bar, amazing. Like, I had an Italian dish called a lasagna. I've got everything. They're whining. They've got wheels in their shoes. iPads. Sky Plus. If you'd have shown me Sky Plus when I was 10, I'd have thought you were a wizard. Like that. Talking telly. And, like, could have been so much worse to just... Every kid I seem to do, like, I'm talking about 10-year-olds, just whining, tubby messes. And... it just does my head in. It could have been worse. You could have grown up in the 80s, where, you know, the telly was awash with offenders, and, you know, it was, you know. And, like, think of the hours we played the recorder. The hours we did that. Have we ever needed it? And I've never been at a party. I know what this needs. Girls in the corner. Do you know Little Donkey? You know I do.
We have a picture of you when you were, I think, 12-year-old.
Oh, really?
Russell.
OK. Oh, there you go.
Happy child.
Well, I haven't seen that for a long time. I look a bit like Harry Potter's German pen pal. Who would have thought that when I sat for that picture, it would end up on telly and people would just be like...
I know. Yeah, just
smile. What's the worst that could happen? All right.
When I was at school, the big game for us was a thing called pile-ups, where one kid lay on the floor and 50 kids lay on top. You'd be on the bottom thinking, shouldn't my ribcage be inside my blazer? I feel a bit sorry for kids now, though. I live in quite a sort of a posh bit of London, and I think the kids there just don't get enough sugar. You know, they ask for a cornetto, they get a little box of raisins. That's not parenting.
Well, exactly. I remember, like, remember Angel Delight now? There's a pudding.
Yes.
One bite of that, you know, I'm going on the roof! My sister, it's one of the greatest moments in the Howard family. My sister's eating Angel Delight. She goes, Dad, what's Angel Delight made of? And my dad just went, dead angels. That's parenting. Me and my brother are like, this is the best day ever.
And Nesquik.
Oh, yeah, damn right.
I used to have that in water.
Yes.
We were poor. You're booing me for being poor?
Very good for making cakes. Instead of using sugar, like flavoured Nesquik, you use chocolate flavour or strawberry flavour instead of using sugar, and then you got strawberry cake or chocolate cake.
All right.
And that cake, I tell you what, your kids are running around the backyard. Way!
People are writing your stuff down, John. Fantastic.
Right. But on predictive text, it says something else completely different.
The technology thing, I mean, as you said, they've got everything now. I remember occasionally, towards the end of school, VHSs were just coming in when I was at school.
Yeah.
And sometimes a teacher, instead of doing a lesson, would show us a VHS. And there was a man called Mr. Barton, and he would bring in the telly with the VHS recorder on wheels. And he used to wear a lab coat. A lab coat. I'm glad we're a bit more technology literate than that.
That's what does my head. It's just like, there's just everything. Be a bit more joy. Like iPods, how extraordinary are they? That you've got every song you love in your hand. It's amazing. And then we had Discman. Do you remember the Discman? With the CD, it was great. Yeah, but you were like, listen to like you're a butler, just having to kind of carry it around like that. It's awful. I'm mostly moaning, but I guess the whole point is that you should just be happy when you're a nipper, and it just feels like maybe they've got too many things and should have those things taken away. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because I didn't have sushi till I was 25, and I love it now. But my kids will probably have it when they're like 5, and it's sort of that weird thing of you should have stuff to look forward to rather than just, right, there's everything. And it feels like they've got everything, so it's kind of harder to get towards fun, because you kind of go, if you start off on fun, it ends up on cocaine.
Very good. You know. I'm going to show you a clip to prove that it's a dangerous life being a child now, even in what you would think was the safest of environments. OK, young girl meets the Queen. What's that, young girl? She was fine. Good job he wasn't with a bayonet. What's David's choice?
It's sushi. I don't like fish much at the best of times. So the idea that you would serve it to me without having the decency to cook the filthy stuff just makes my stomach turn. But it's not solely the snot-like texture, although that should be enough. It's that there's an attitude that goes along with the people that like it that I find disgusting. There's a sort of snobbish, smug, kind of middle-class proselytizing about it that goes on. This idea that because I like sushi, I'm sophisticated, I'm international, I'm exotic, for a plate of filthy raw fish. Doesn't even come with chips. There's one of those viral videos, I don't know if anyone's seen this, of a plate of sashimi that someone filmed in a restaurant that starts to twitch and then flips itself off the plate. That's not dinner, that's a pet.
I love sashimi because I have an international sort of...
Because you're all exotic.
Mysterious, exotic presence.
I must confess, I'm with David on this. I don't... I mean, I understand... I mean, I've never investigated it as closely as you have. Not. But it's the fact that people who do like it think that they are better than all of us.
Yes, we are better
That's
than
the
you.
bit that
To be fair, David, you come from a place where they won't even eat raw Mars bars.
That is exotic cuisine, right there.
So here's some sushi. One of my favourite things about sushi is the sushi grass. What is that about?
What is that about? It's trying to dress it up because it's such filthy, vile stuff.
You know, in the part of the world I come from, when they talk about grass, they talk about something else.
No, but it doesn't come from a field, this stuff. It comes from the sea. It gives it a sort of surf and turf kind of a feel. Well, I think this was my own idea, and if there's anyone who runs a sushi restaurant, I'm prepared to discuss this with them. Wouldn't this be more suitable? You see, like, you've got waves, and it just makes it more real. Can I say also, by the way, the sushi grass, it's great at Christmas.
I think part of the pretension, too, is the fact that it appears to be so enticingly laid out. You know, that's part of the thing.
Have you ever heard of Nayat Amori? Nayat Amori?
Sure.
It's a very specialist sushi tradition in Japan. Here is what it is.
Oh.
Yes, and the sushi is eaten off a naked body, usually female, be honest with you. But you can imagine the complications of eating it off a male.
David just changed his mind about sushi.
Well, I went to one of these places in Osaka, and I said, look, I finished the meal, and I said, I don't have any money, but I am prepared to do the washing up. This particular one, which is the salmon one, I always feel a bit sorry, because salmon doesn't seem quite exotic enough to be in sushi. It's like when you see a British actor in an American TV show, you think, oh, bless. But when you look at that piece of sushi, I think it looks like Ed Sheeran. And if you can imagine, now this one, I always think, it's ginger, but it's got a bit of white showing. It's more of a Chris Evans type. And you can imagine them meeting at a bar and having a bit of a... Actually, it'd be more like this, wouldn't it? So, you have eaten sushi, I take it?
Begrudgingly, yeah. Well, people keep going on about it. You know,
Yes,
there must
they
be
do.
something, and then... But no, it just tastes like a pile of raw fish.
It's a fair summary.
Yeah. My South African accent. As part of my day job, which is pretending to be other people, I do occasionally have to assume another accent. And usually, with a bit of practice and a bit of time, I can make a decent fist of most of them. But my Beecher's Brook, my Waterloo, is the South African accent. I don't know why it should be. I don't know what it is about it that is elusive to my ear, but I've tried and I've struggled, and I can start off all right, and it's not too bad, but it doesn't take very long, and suddenly I'm from Dudley. So I have to concentrate and try and wrestle it back, but it really can't hold on to it for very long. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. It defeats me every single time.
Well, we have a recording, a radio recording of you. I don't think it's a South African accent.
Oh, I hope not.
This is from an audio play called The Rotters Club.
Oh, no.
And this is set in Birmingham.
Yeah. I didn't know you remembered this.
No, exactly. Let's hear this.
Look, Bill, a vote for Wilson is just going to let the socialists back in.
Oh, I've bad news for you, Sam. I am a socialist.
Well, you might as well just give the miners the keys of the ruddy country and let them get on with it.
Not a bad idea. I might propose it at the next TUC conference.
That was David and I, in case you hadn't worked that out.
Must be like 15 years ago now.
I'll tell you something about that show. We did this show together, but as you say, a long time ago, and there was a guy called David Troughton in it, who was the son of a former Doctor Who. And I was so excited that it was the son of a former Doctor Who then. And David was there, and I thought, why does this Scottish bloke keep bothering me? I want to talk to the son of the former... Little did I know. And the moral of this is don't meet your heroes before they're your heroes. I went up for a part. It was an American thing, and I thought, well, if they've asked me, there must be, like, an English guy in it. So I turned up, and they said, no, we need you to do it in an American accent. Now, I only have one American accent, and it's quite distinctive. I remember one of the lines. It was, you're a pretty girl, Susan. This woman is coming on to me and says, you're a pretty girl, Susan, but I thought you knew I'm gay. That was the line. And they said, we need to do American. And the only American accent I have is Wild West old-timer. So I said, you're a pretty girl, Susan. But here, I thought you knew. I'm gay. I didn't get the part.
But you are doing the tour of Brokeback Mountain, so that's...
Anyway, we thought we might want to help you with this, David. So we contacted a man called Paul Meyer. He runs a thing called the International Dialects of English Archive. And he thinks that he can teach, well, you and I, to do South African. Would you like to give it a try?
I'd love to,
It's written phonetically. And what he's done is he's taken that scene from the Rotters Club that we did in regional Midlands accents, and he's made it South African. So if you'd like to join me on your... You can see your mark.
I can.
Good on you. OK, so you've got to imagine now, instead of being set in the West Midlands, that suddenly we're in Joburg.
OK.
And it's written, as I
don't know why I'm doing it as Nelson, but...
So, yeah, it's phonetic. OK, let's go for it.
Well, I've bit news for you, Sim. I am a sexualist.
Well, you might as well just give the manus the geese the ruddy country and let them get on with it. I think you've got...
Yeah. Not a bed, adieu. Not please, aide. Next you see conference.
I have a feeling that if you played this backwards, it would sound absolutely fine. David Tennant, the South African actor. Let's get ready to grumble. What is upsetting Romish?
New Year's Eve. I think it's such an unacceptable day of the year. You know, the fact that you're sort of put under pressure to celebrate it. You know, everyone's sort of geeing up, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? What are you doing for New Year's Eve? And the thing is, it's the wrong time of the year. I know it's supposed to be at the end of the year, and that's OK, but it's just after Christmas. And then people are saying, when do you want to... What are we doing? Where are we meeting up? Well, I've literally spent Christmas period seeing you. Why would I want to see you again so soon after? It needs to be in the middle, like June, July, so we get a 6-month break. Not we're all hanging out, and then a few days later, here we are again. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? And then it's just sort of the whole thing about the whole idea of New Year's Eve, people getting ready with resolutions and stuff. I find resolutions, they should be banned. Because, like, my mum's New Year's resolution was to see me more. No, thank you. It's in complete and direct opposition to what I want to do now.
Here's two men who have I think, changed New Year's Eve forever. Their names are Richard Sclafani and Peter Cicero, and they invented those glasses with the year on. They started them in 1991, and the last ones they made was 2009. Can I say, every time I look at this picture, it winds me up that they're not in chronological order.
That looks like Biggins on the right-hand side.
Well, everyone in ridiculous glasses looks like Biggins. They're very unflattering, 1991, as well. They make you look like you haven't slept for a week.
Yeah.
This is what I wear on New Year's Eve.
I don't know why that's funny.
I'm glad you thought it was funny. I got nothing from the crowd.
No.
My two favourite types of New Year's Eve are either end of the spectrum, either very, very drunk and debauched, or at home and in bed by 10 o'clock. Those are the only two that I can do. I think Jules Holland has revolutionised New Year, because actually there's some decent telly to watch.
You certainly got me out the house.
The other issue I've got is my mother-in-law's birthday.
Oh, dear.
That's New Year's Eve, so that's sort of a double whammy of misery, isn't it? Old red wine teeth is definitely going to be over. You know what I
mean, you seem like a young person. Why do you have sort of your mother-in-law over for New Year's Eve?
Because it's her birthday.
Oh. Surely, I mean, I've not met her, but she must have the odd friend, I would have thought.
She has got many odd friends. But unfortunately, we have to do this family thing. Because that's the problem, isn't it? It's because it's on New Year's Eve, it's got to be...
You can't just tell them not to come.
My marriage is...
I'm awfully sorry you can't come to our house. Sadly, I don't know, one of the pets died or something. Why do you... I don't understand.
Well,
why
the problem
have
is
your mum and your aunt on New Year's Eve?
It is a good plan, but we don't have any pets, so I'd have to buy an animal just to kill it. To make that excuse work, which I'm just not willing to do.
You could buy a dead animal.
Yeah, that's true.
Butchers, the butchers.
That's all true, yeah. Wow, so the
November,
chicken died and then you defeathered it and prepared it for cooking. All right, interesting.
Why can't they come round on New Year's Day? I mean, why must you have your family there that evening? That's what I don't...
Because...
He's grilling you in the dark.
Yeah, he's grilling me as if I'm the only one that's ever done this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I must say, I've never had your auntie over.
No.
Will.i.am is my problem. First of all, I think it's obvious he's nicked my look. I used to like him when he was in, like, the Black Eyed Peas, but, I mean, I think my biggest issue is him being a judge on The Voice. It's very easy to be a judge on those talent shows, because what you're supposed to do is you go, I thought that was fantastic, and then the audience go nuts, so you go, I thought that was disappointing, and then they go, but what he does is, I thought that was like a unicorn dressed in a tiara, just sort of sashaying across my living room floor.
Can I say, by the way, before you go any further, that we on the BBC believe the voice is a spent force, and the sooner it's put out of its misery, the better.
I also find the way that he dresses unacceptable because it's not a stage outfit. That is how he dresses. So it's not like a costume. That's how he goes to the shops. And I think what you're doing is you're encouraging normal people to dress like that, and people are going to get beaten up, you know, because they think it's OK to wear jodhpurs and, like, a bow tie above your right eyebrow, and you do that, you get beaten up. And then Will.i.am's like, well, nobody bothers me about it.
What are you talking about?
And do you know Will.i.am?
He's a rapper. He was in the a group called the Black Eyed Peas. He's an entrepreneur.
Right.
He's an entrepreneur and he's a judge on The Voice.
You're not on your own, Robert. This is a clip from American news.
Just kind of giving you a little bit of what you see here. That's Wyclef Jean giving an interview. He is one of the many surrogates, you could say. Sorry? Wale, excuse me, Wale. Got my artist.
Is it the right thing to correct him while he's still on? Like, do you know what I mean?
I think so.
Is it?
I think the longer that mistake is allowed to live,
Because I wonder...
the more damage it does.
I wonder if you just sort of go, it's Wyclef Jean, and then pan back. Just people go, maybe that was Wyclef Jean. Do you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah. My favourite fact about him is he's got a cousin that lives in West Yorkshire. I love that.
Yeah.
He's called Will.i.am.
Do you know, you almost licked your lips before you delivered that punchline.
I couldn't wait to get to the punchline. It's as simple as that. But he's regarded as an extremely talented and successful artist, Robert.
By Will.i.am.
Well, here's a picture of him at the O2. Get this for her. Can I say, one of my horrors as a child was that an armchair might stand up. And that looks as if what has happened there. You could have been sitting in that when it straightened.
He did a really patronising anti-Trump song as well. He was dressed up as Trump, and he was sort of trying to have a go at the fact that Trump was quite sexist, etc. The lyrics were so ridiculous. It was like he got a 4-year-old to put together a feminist agenda. Do you know what I mean? It was insane.
We have a clip of the Trump thing you're talking about. Here he is.
I'm president, I won't be like Obama. If anyone talks about me, Obama, I'm grabbing that like there's no tomorrow. And if we have problems with Russia, I'm home.
What you gonna do about Al-Qaeda and ISIS? What you gonna do about Syrian crisis? What you gonna do when you step in the door with the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor? No!
Ah, shut up, girl. It ain't about you, girl. It's all about me, girl. Don't you see my name on the building, girl? And when I'm president, I'm a own the world. I'm a star.
Wow. I'd have voted for Trump.
I mean, I reckon that's why he won.
Before we finish
that is the worst thing I've seen. Put it in room 101.
Yeah. Well, I might do in a minute. Before we move on, can I just show you my favourite ever Will.i.am lookalike? Winds up Barb about people.
I'd like to apply for entry for people, named shop assistants, who give you the receipt on the bottom and then put the money on top of the receipt. When you're doing the cash till ballet and doing everything,
yes,
and you're left with a wallet in one hand and really nowhere to go from there, but a world of frustration.
That is annoying, I must say.
No, it's not. I've lost faith in it very, very suddenly. But
Well, I have to agree. I find that really frustrating when they hand you that and you end up with this bundle of
coins wrapped in the receipt in your pocket because you've got your wallet.
Yes, that's all you can do, Brendan. You just have to crush it.
Crush it and bear. Crush it and bear.
Because you've done the crush and in your pocket, because your wallet's in the other hand, you can't then just dispose of it in the bin outside because you'd be throwing all your cash in as well.
You've got to unwrap it.
You got to unwrap it, yeah, and you know, like it's.
Life is so hard. I'm a bit OCD about shopping. You see, there's a certain way that the groceries go into the cupboards. So because they go in a particular way, they should be packed in the bags in a particular way. Boy Scouts, God love them. I'm sure they're well-meaning, but they often pack bags. And I'm there sweating and crying. I want to go, there's a tenner, please go away. They put, the bread doesn't go in with the bleach.
And also that thing when someone's forgot something and they're allowed to go and shop again. I was there with one woman who said, oh, I meant to get gravy granules. Well, you can live a life full of regret or you can move on. But the woman said, she said, can I just... The woman said, yes. Yes. So she went off to get the gravy. I'm waiting, you know, infuriated. She came back, she got Ryvita as well.
That is awful.
I would not have had the gall to come back with an extra thing.
Yeah. Mind you, you wouldn't eat a Ryvita without gravy granules.
This is I think the best ever thing I've ever seen in a supermarket. Get a load of this. See what it says there? It's a genuine...
Is that for teachers?
Back to school. OK, then. What does Bob hate about modern life?
Whoa. One aspect of modern life that I don't enjoy is this craze now of wrapping your food in bacon before you cook it, with your fishes and your meats. I've just got a feeling it's one of these celebrity chef things, and it's been sold on the basis that it seals in the flavour. And I don't think it does do that. It just collapses and leaks out its saltiness. I don't actually believe that they're flavours that work. I think it's like it's one of these pretentious things.
I think say with pigs in a blanket, you know, when they wrap it around sausage, I think it's to stop the sausage splitting, isn't it? It sort of operates like a hernia belt.
Well, I think you're giving bacon a kind of super strength there that it doesn't have, as if it can grip the sausage.
I have to tell you, one of the treats that we've always had for Christmas, we have every Christmas morning, and all the kids come round and Jen cooks it up, is fried Christmas pudding with bacon. Really, try it. Honest to God, it's something else. It really is something else, and you can drink like a fish after it.
You know that? Do you remember those little bits? You don't see them so much now. Like little bits of white gristle that you get in bacon. They look almost like little bits of white plastic.
Like a little bit of bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going through it. I use those to create the windows on the pork aeroplanes. I like to know. I don't think you're fully appreciating the versatility of bacon and indeed pork in general.
I've never flown pork.
I have used it. This is a fact. I was frying sausages and eggs in the same thing, and I didn't have one of those things that you pick the eggs up with. I had a knife, so I got under the egg just to loosen it, but I couldn't pick it up. So I used one of the rashers of bacon as a sort of a stretcher to carry the egg to the plate.
I have no objection to using bacon as a stretcher.
I've used it as a utensil. I have eaten baked beans with bacon. Use it like that.
And you could use it as a bookmark, like a savoury bookmark. But please, not wrapping it.
But at least it tastes good, because the food fad I really hate is when they put foam on stuff.
Right.
Foam? Foam. That's a fad that I don't get at all. They just have foam. It just looks like someone spat on your food. Maybe that's what they've done.
I think you should stop eating in Carol Vorderman's restaurant. It's the wild card round. Now, this means that you don't have any restraints of category. You can just choose anything at all that you don't like. So what is Bob's wild card?
It's unripe fruit in supermarkets. You know, I find myself... Thank you. I just find myself... I mean, particularly the melon, the nectarine, the peach, the pear and the apricot. It's impossible to get one ready to eat, and on the odd occasion you can, it's packaged as actually ready to eat, and they charge you more for it. And it's very frustrating, and it just adds to the nation's fruit bowls just rotting away, attracting fruit flies, and then being disposed of. Because it's long past your desire to have a slice of melon.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I remember when I was young, it was a Friday treat to get, like, a yellow honeydew melon, and we'd gather round it, like this beautiful yellow orb, ready to enjoy it. But now, these unripe melons that you buy from supermarkets, they taste like turnips. So I'm imagining a whole generation, you know, being put off melons by it.
It's probably one of the biggest impulse buys as well. I mean, you buy a banana when you fancy a banana. Yeah. Not you buy a banana 2 weeks before you fancy it. In case you fancy a banana.
Bananas are quite speedy, aren't they? They can ripen up.
They can.
As can a tomato, Brendan.
But unfortunately, not a lemon.
Not
There's a fruit store at the bottom of my road, and I see them throw away overripe fruit. So there's only a very short window of edibility before they become overripe.
Yeah, but we used to be able to cope with that.
Well, what used to happen, of course, is we had stocks where people used to get put in. You'd think in the age of recycling, bring those back. I feel a bit sorry for greengrocers because they lose probably 40% of their stock every week in car chases. The odd thing about this is they do very different stuff with, let's say, bread in supermarkets, where they put the freshest bread at the back of the tray and the old stuff at the front to make you buy the old stuff. Luckily, they had a similar policy at the dating agency my girlfriend went to. OK, what's winding up Josh?
So this is people being rude about Paul McCartney. Top of the list, your production team, seemingly, with that picture.
Yeah. It looks like there should be a dog's tail above that mouth.
Anybody else feel sick now?
Yeah, I feel quite strongly about this. It seems to have been a thing that's kind of happened in the last decade, that being half of the greatest songwriting partnership of all time, changing the face of popular music, changing the face of society, doesn't deem respect if you're a bit of a square 74-year-old. Like, he's 74. We're lucky he's not doing an advert for walk-in baths.
Do you listen to his more recent solo albums?
No, of course not.
Hold it. Is this a person being rude about Paul McCartney?
Right, I thought this might happen. I've made a list of the pros and cons of Paul McCartney.
Wow.
OK, so this is basically how the argument goes. So the pros, he was responsible for changing popular music forever. He wrote Hey Jude. He invented the concept album. He produced the greatest Glastonbury headline set ever while in his 60s. He wrote Blackbird. The frog chorus was quite good. He took a decade of public abuse. He headlined Live Aid. He made it OK to be a vegetarian. He wrote Helter Skelter, Fall on the Hill, paperback writer Michelle, Eleanor Rigby, For No One, and Let It Be. Cons, he dyes his hair. I think Paul McCartney has achieved so much at such a young age that he should have a free pass to do whatever he wants. Isambard Kingdom Brunel. When he was old, no one was going, yeah, but what bridges has he built recently? You know, Alexander Fleming, no one said, but what did he follow penicillin with? Abraham Lincoln, no one said, what did he do good after whatever it was that he was meant to have done? Like, And I'd say Paul McCartney is up there with the greatest people that has ever lived, and people are rude about him, and they shouldn't be.
But nobody criticises him for Eleanor Rigby or for all the early stuff. They criticise him for giving the evil eye to burgers. I mean, it's fine if he wants to be a vegetarian, just the rest of us are doing a public service by eating cows and keeping them off the road. So... think of the accidents there could be if I wasn't doing my bit, keeping the livestock back.
So you don't observe meat-free Mondays?
What on earth is that? I'm from Denmark, darling. What on earth is that?
This was his little blurb for it.
Please just log in pledge.meatfreemondays, or one word, .com. Pledge.meatfreemondays.com. 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 You can do it right now, please.
Wow! It's definitely not as good as his early work.
See, you say that's bad.
Yeah.
The first time I heard that, that was in my head for a week.
Have you met him?
No, I'd love to meet him.
I saw him at this thing, and I went over, and he went, "Oh, hello, Frank." And I thought, he knows my name. And then he said to his fiancée, "This is a very famous British comedian." And I can't tell you how good I felt. And I was so pleased. And then someone went past with a tray of little bits of food, and I took a small burger off it and went like that, and he went... And I tried to put it back on, but they're gone. I ended up, I held... You know when you're behind the bike shed having a smoke and the teacher... I held the burger behind my back, like that, hoping that he might have forgotten about it.
Do you like this stuff? Do you like
Yeah, I mean, I loved the Beatles. We was at the NME Awards and he was there. And my partner is a massive Beatles fan, so I was like, you've got to tap him when he comes past. And he did stop and say hello, but that was about it.
I'm a bit disappointed that this has become me coming on to talk about how much I love Paul McCartney and then just hearing stories about how everyone else has met Paul McCartney.
There are some amazing Paul McCartney lookalikes around. Look at this woman.
Look at this
God bless her. Can I say God bless her? I do not mock this this lovely old lady in her little
so
Welsh home. But it has to be said that she does have more than a passing resemblance.
They certainly share a hairdresser, I think. That's fantastic.
And what about this woman?
That is him!
Wow!
He's allowed to relax if he wants to.
What do you Google if you want to find people who look astonishingly like Paul McCartney? Is
Exactly that.
Just that?
What's making Josh angry?
Right.
Oh.
Bring it on. This, I truly believe. I spent my teenage years teaching myself to like the taste of lager so that I could be considered one of the boys. I managed it. I've been fine with that, even though we all know none of us actually like the taste. Now, they've brought along this worst drink called real ale. Have you seen... Awful, right? These people who drink real ale, they act like they're better than you, Frank. They act like they're better than you. They'll go, "Oh, it tastes so much, so good." No one is drinking alcohol for the taste. No, you know, otherwise you wouldn't keep drinking it. Like, I like the taste of milk. I'd stop after one glass. You don't find me at 2 a.m. 8 pints of milk down. There's got to be another dairy somewhere, hasn't there? And you go and buy it, and you have to queue behind them because they're sampling it, and then they have to kind of... Have you seen them trying to push it out of the pump? They're like... It's like they're kind of slooshing a chemical toilet. And you have to stand there, and it looks like a canal. It might as well have a shopping trolley in it. And they're acting like they're cooler than you. You're not cooler than me because you drink real ale. James Bond wouldn't be as cool if when he was in the casino. The woman came over and said, "Can I get another drink, 007? Yeah, just a pint of Otter's cock, please, yeah."
That is one of my problems with it. Is it's all slightly ironic, isn't it? It's all got comedy names and people go and have a pint of needless cruelty. It's in a pub called like the Uncertain Zebra.
it's like, you might as well go in and ask for a pint of mead. Like, I didn't go to the pub to drink like Henry VIII.
No. That's a good motto.
Yeah.
I remember in the 80s, the first wave of real ale. And then it was all about, you know, men in jumpers and big beards and stuff like that drinking it.
Yeah.
But now I think it's become quite cool, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I live in East London, and it's full of people. You know, you'll go to the house and they'll go, "Do you want? I've made some homebrew. Do you want it?" And you go, "No." Oh, I'll have the one that passed EU safety standards.
That's like the taste of some alcohol, wonderful wines and whiskies.
Yeah, I enjoy them, but...
Is it all just about getting drunk?
Life, yes. No, it's this kind of celebration of the drink that does taste worse. It's, you know, let's be honest, it doesn't taste as good as a nice, cool, crisp lager. You go to someone's house for a home brew and, oh, we mixed it, you know, I mixed it in my bath, but don't worry, I washed the bath first. So that's not, I don't care, it's a bath. If you said, is this plate clean? Well, I washed it, but before that I was sat on it naked. It's a confidence. Why do you think you can make beer? Like, I can't get the, you know, the ratios of Ribena right. At least that's not going to send me blind if I get it wrong.
I love that people are trying to do the old crafts themselves. I think that's a wonderful thing to make your own beer. I don't think I've ever tried a real ale, but I think you should be applauded for giving it a go, no?
Well, come back to me when you've tried a real ale and been unable to see for 48 hours.
What about this? This is a bit of old footage from BBC Nationwide. I'd like just listen out, by the way, to how much this man can drink. This takes me back.
Alan Hunter, a man who can really hold his beer, whichever way you look at it. For nearly a year now, he's been defying the laws of specific gravity. Drinking beer the right way up his form is impressive. He's capable of sinking 32 pints in an evening. The only time he's ever tasted defeat was when he was beaten by 2 seconds over a 5-pint sprint. But to be fair, on that occasion, his opponent was a horse.